Got to stay focused on that. Our scripture is going to come from 2 Corinthians. If you have 2 Corinthians 12 and 7, if you have a Bible, I'd like you to stand for just 1 second. Let me read 7. 2 Corinthians 12 and 7. I'll give you just a second. You got to say amen. All right. So 2 Corinthians 12 and 7, I'll be reading the King James Version, and I'm going to read a few different versions here. It reads as follows: "And lest I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations, there was given to me a thorn in the flesh, the messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure." Father, just ask right now that you just add a blessing to your word. I ask that you just add teaching to your word. I ask that you sow seeds into your word. I ask that everything that comes out of my mouth be from you and not from me. I just ask that you hide me behind this cross, this pulpit. Don't let anyone see me. Let their eyes go closed and let the word go into their mind where they can meditate on it in the coming days, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. You all can have a seat. So we've got a title today of our sermon, and it's I want to know, raise your hands if you've ever had a thorn in your side, or if you've ever said, they're a thorn in my side. I want to hear that. Okay. So if you've got a thorn in your side, usually hurts, right? Well, today I want to tell you, if you've got one in your side, consider it a blessing. And thank God for the thorn. As we're going through the service this morning, the praise and worship, my brother here was talking about exaltation above high, and the songs were leading that path. It was like God was setting the word up. And he set the dinner table. So what we got to do this morning is wondering, where did that come from? Who said that's a thorn in my side? So we're going to learn today why there's a thorn in your side. And it's real simple. It's very easy. Because God said so. Amen. And we can go home now, so I'm done. All right? But seriously, God said it. So we're going to deal with that. And you're ordained to get what you deal with. You're ordained to get it. It's yours. It's given to you. And whether you like it or not or complain about it, it's yours. Yes. God allowed it to happen. The problem is we want to think that it's being a curse put upon us, or we've got this because we've been bad or whatever. Your ordeals are your ordeals. Amen. Maybe you're the same with somebody through your family. 6,000 years ago they were the same. But they're our ordeals to deal with personally. And we got to take ownership of it. To understand where we're going, we got to understand what some of these words mean. The word thorn just means something sharp. I got these points up here, and I was in Quest parking lot around back, traipsing through the woods, and they were wondering what I was doing. I was cutting down thorn bushes. So I had some gloves, and I'm out there in a pair of shorts cutting down thorns. They're looking at me like I'm crazy out there. So I'm cutting down thorns, but it's anything sharp. That's the proper word, what it means. Now, figure of speech, what we talk about in our language today, we call it slang. Just go with me on slang a minute, Pastor. So we're going to say it's slang. Hebrews had slang. Greeks had it. Everybody had it. So slang terms means something that causes you acute irritation or discomfort or pain. Doesn't mean a thorn. Anything that causes pain to you, whether it's mental, physical, psychological. That's what it meant when the Hebrews were walking around and saying, hey, I got a thorn in me. Doesn't mean the guy was stuck with thorns like these things here. The dictionary says, 100 years ago in Scripture, that it means a great difficulty or impediment. Doesn't say anything about a sharp bush. So we got to understand it doesn't mean a bush when we look at thorns. We got to understand what it means a little deeper to us. And a thorn is anything that keeps you humble, because if you don't have something to bring you down, you think you can just keep flying high. You got to have a thorn. I welcome the thorns. That's right. You got to stay focused. If you're just, everything's great every day in your life, there's no focus. You don't look at things that you've got to focus on to fix it. You don't look at it. And those come from the devil. Job had so many darts thrown at him and so many thorns, he probably had just acres of thorn bushes thrown. I mean, that's what he had going on. And we want to complain when we get a little something down. We don't have the newest car. We don't have the newest house. The other thing that it does, the temptations that are the thorns for you, the Jezebel spirits, the financial spirits, anything that wants to attack you, guys, those are just thorns. And we got to understand that thorns hurt. In fact, when I was cutting those down, I had a pair of leather welding gloves I brought from work because I was planning on getting these thorn bushes whether Quest was going to have them or not.
Okay.
So I went to the woods and cut them down by the creek. So I had some leather welding gloves. Things are tough.
Right.
1,200 degrees, 1,600 degrees heat, you can't burn through them. I snatched this bush up here, this little one right here, and when I squeezed it, it went straight through. When I took that off, I had blood everywhere. That's leather gloves, guys. There was no protection. The thorn was going to get me.
Wow.
I was prepared. Wow. Hey, I was prepared.
Yeah. Wow.
I was prepared for what the thorn was going to do. And the thorn said, nah, I'm still getting you. Guys, yeah, I don't care how prepared you are. I don't care how sanctified, edified, educated, how scholarly you are, where you went to school, what you studied. The thorn's going to bite you. It's going to cut you. You're going to bleed. You're going to bleed. But when you do, thank God for it.
Amen.
I talked about the gloves. Listen to what Paul says in 2 Corinthians. I'm going to go through this fast, but just catch on. And then you tell me if you think you got some issues. He said, I've worked harder, been in prison more frequently, been flogged more severely, been exposed to death. 5 times I received beatings from the Jews with 40 lashes minus 1. 3 times I was beaten with rods. Once I was pelted with stones. 3 times I was shipwrecked. Spent the night and the day in the open sea. Been constantly on the move. Been in danger from rivers, dangers from bandits, dangers from fellow Jews, dangers from Gentiles, danger in the city, danger in the country, danger at sea. I didn't live anywhere. Danger in false believers. I've labored and toiled, and I've often gone without sleep. I've known hunger and thirst for days on end. I've been cold and naked. So when you got some problems because you can't eat roast beef tonight and you're having to eat something else, thank God for it. It makes you want to work a little bit harder. It makes you want to be a little more humble. So when you're getting to, back to 2 Corinthians 12 and 7, it talks about buffeting. He says he was buffeted. Buffet means to strike with your fist. It doesn't mean that the devil walked up and he went like this, he said, I got you. That means he came up and tried to knock you out. You ever woke up in the morning and during the night, you had some kind of sleep and you woke up and feel like somebody had just run over you with a truck?
Yes.
And you had no idea why? I've got a good idea why. He's trying to get you no matter what, guys. He doesn't go to sleep. God doesn't sleep. The enemy doesn't sleep. They come to get us.
So true.
They come to get us. So when you wake up beat down, get up and go to work. Quit complaining about you got a headache. Quit complaining about you got a sore body. Get up and go and do what you got to do. Because when you lay there and complain and call in sick, the devil just got you. He just got you. A thorn in your flesh, if we're not careful, can cause self-pity. Woe is me. Woe is me. Woe is me. It makes us bitter toward God. And it makes us hate it. As my brother just said, as soon as you speak it, it's done. The devil just chalked one up and God just said, got to get stronger. So the important thing to know is the thorns that you got is allowed to come to you. And Paul was he probably had the most thorns of anybody. Paul, if you don't know, was about 4.5 feet tall. Paul was a little man, they say. Little man. He had no hair. He was little. And the Bible, not the Bible, but some study on him shows that he was a pretty heavy guy. So he had a lot of things going on. We know that when he was Saul, what he was doing, but now he's Paul. And he says 3 times, I pleaded with the Lord to take this thing from him. It says, for this thing I besought the Lord thrice, that it might depart from me. He said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee, for strength. It makes you perfect in weakness. It's pretty simple, guys. It's simple. It's actually in your Bible. I got it written. It's on the computer. It's there. There's no line where it is. It says, most gladly I will rather glorify my infirmities than the power of Christ rests upon me. Yes. Therefore, I take pleasure in my infirmities, in the reproaches, in the necessities. The necessities means it's got to happen to you. It's going to happen to you. It's going to happen. Here's something for the teachers. I've typed this in. There's some teachers and preachers and pastors. And I'm going to talk to myself. The other leaders can just listen. I'm going to read it word for word as I wrote it down. It says, Paul was a gifted person and could have easily become proud in his accomplishments. Yes. That proud spirit would have been a disaster to his usefulness for God. Wow. So God took what Satan had intended to defeat Paul and turned it into a smashing victory that he would stay appropriately humble. So let me ask you, I don't think anybody in here is as mean as the devil. I don't think you can do to the devil. I don't think you can do to him what the devil can do to him. So if God took what the devil did on his angels, and he said, it's not going to work, watch this. And he flipped it. You don't think he'll do it for you?
Amen.
Come on. Come on. If you don't think he'll do it for you, if you don't think he'll do it, you need to study. You need to understand. You got to get a grip on your weaknesses and disabilities.
Amen.
And when I was thinking about this, I said Paul had these afflictions, and he had a body. He was constantly complaining. Paul was a complainer. He was a hypochondriac. He had issues. And he really did. I could see him sitting in the corner talking to God like somebody in the corner was sitting there drunk talking to themselves. I can see him over there, but he's not drunk. He's not drunk, but he's just talking. What are you doing? What are you doing? Why? He's asking all these whys. He's asking why. And God's like, you're going to ask that and make it worse. Now I'm going to stone you. I mean, when you read about his hardships, the guy should have died way before he died. But God said, I'm not going to take you anywhere. He's begging him to help me. So, anybody ever had a kidney stone?
Oh, God.
I've had kidney stones. The guy I work with that used to be my boss has passed, and this is no lie, I have him come in here and he'll tell you, he's passed probably 200 kidney stones in the last 20 years. He's got a jar with kidney stones in it. A jar, a quart jar. When Paul says he had an affliction, the first thing that popped into my mind when I saw these, if you've never passed one, it's like those in your urinary tract, guys. It hurts. So when he said I've got inflictions in me, he might have had kidney stones. I don't know what he had, but I know it hurts. Maybe he couldn't explain it. It's bad, guys. Those things hurt. So Paul's afflictions, we don't know what they were, but they tell us he asked God to take them from him.
Take it from him.
If you got an affliction, have you ever gone to God and said, I need you to get rid of this?
Oh, yes.
And he doesn't get rid of it?
Yes.
What do you do?
Ask him again.
Ask him again. What do most of you do? Most of you say, I ain't dealing with him. Not today. Until it hurts again, you're like, please God. It's called jailhouse prayer, I guess. Or dying on the deathbed prayer. It's one of those prayers. I mean, every time somebody can be sitting here talking to you, they're in jail every year. The first thing he says, man, when I get out of here, I'm going to church. You are a lying to devils, all right. You're not going to church. You're not going to do it. As soon as he heals you on the bed, you don't go to church. It's the same thing. Okay, so I've talked a lot. I've talked a bunch. Now we're going to start the sermon. That's all. Just get into it. You guys are thinking, what in the world am I myself into? So we got fried chicken on order. Somebody's got to order fair value. We got potato salad, somebody. So we're going to be here a while. So here we go. Here we go. So I told you guys weeks ago, and Miss Newell just hit on. I told you weeks ago in my last sermon, let it go. IT. Let it go. Okay, remember that a minute. Let it go. Let it go because Jesus took it to the grave. 2,000 years ago, we're going to try not to get cut. 2,000 years ago, they shoved this on Jesus' head. He wore it like a crown. What you don't realize, maybe, is the day they shoved this on his head.
All right.
This. There's a lot of it's in there. Every one of them thorns is one of you guys. When he said he took it all with him to the grave, he took all your thorns. Now, we just learned what the thorns are. It's any infirmity that you have. That's a bunch of infirmities, okay? There's infirmities. Here's your infirmities. There's more infirmities. So when they are up there putting this crown on his head, they're thinking they're hurting the guy. Jesus is like, give me all of them. Let me have it. Because I know what's coming in the end. Give it to me. My brother this morning said, he welcomes it. Yeah, I'm sitting over here and I'm praising God. I'm like, Lord, you were talking to everybody right now together at one time.
Yes, God.
When he took those, they were gone. So why are you worried about it?
Wow.
If you are a Christian and they tell you you're dying of cancer and you got 3 weeks, hey, hallelujah, it's been a good ride. Most of us, if you're Christians, that shouldn't affect you a bit. That shouldn't affect you a bit. Shouldn't affect you a bit. Shouldn't affect you. 99% of the Christians say that they're going to cry as soon as the doctor tells them you're gone. 3 weeks, better get yourself right. What am I going to do? Well, you're going to die, but you better get right. It's going to happen. Everybody in the Bible is gone. They're gone. Jesus died on the cross. That man died. Guys, it's going to happen. Get it right. You're crawling. It's done. He took it with him. That's another thing he took with us. So, the thorns that he took, there's no coincidences. It's there. You just got to understand that he took it. I didn't know that. I never read into a thorn on his head. I thought it was for pain. It wasn't for pain. Jesus said, give me the crown. Let me take it to you. I got it. Give it to me. Shove it on my head. These are 3-inch thistles. We were talking earlier, my brother. It wasn't these. If you've ever seen a thistle bush in Egypt or in the Middle East, those things are huge, guys. They're like needles, and they don't break, and they burn. I cut down these few little bushes with the gloves, and I got home and had 20 cuts on me. Didn't even know I had them because where it was hitting. They burned. Little cuts burn. They hurt. In fact, I'm scratching one right now. It still hurts. I'm not kidding. So that was 2,000 years ago. Jesus took it. All right. We're still not good yet. Now we're going to get to the sermon, the second part of it. That was just something that was there. Let's go 6,000 years ago. There was a little garden that we call Eden.
All right.
Okay? Garden of Eden. Everybody knows what happened there. Lord, you got to help me with this one. You got to help me right now, Jesus. This one's got to be slow and methodical. We got to plan it. So Adam and Eve are there, and poor Eve's running around, and she's probably looking pretty to Adam. This time they're running around through the garden. They're the only two there having a good time. So she comes across and says, hey, look at this. We're going to eat this fruit. Come here and try it, Adam. So in Genesis 3, 17 and 20, 17 through 20, you don't have to look it up, but if you write it down, you're going to want to go home tonight, and I guarantee you we'll study. So Genesis 3, 17 through 20. And unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of this tree, of which I commanded you, saying, thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for thy sake. In sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of your life. Okay, sounds pretty simple. Go to 18. Thorns and thistles shall bring it forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field. All right. 19. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread. So eat bread? Till thou return unto the ground, for out of it was you taken, and you shall return. Pretty simple. Let me read it to you what it really says. This is the Bible when you go to the language, guys. Hearkened means to be obedient. So he was obedient to his wife in 17 and he ate the apple. God said, told you not to do it. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to have sorrow the rest of your days. Your cancer, sorrow means to worry. So when he said, you're going to worry the rest of your days because you guys messed up. My wife asked me at the breakfast table this morning, and her question was so interesting. She said, why do we have to pay for what Adam and Eve did? We're all the same person. We're one person. We came from Adam. You ladies came from him. We came from him. We're all going to suffer. So when you say you're sick, I don't want to hear it. I'll pray for you that you'll get over it, but I want you to pray and have a relationship where you get where you need to be. It's not me. I don't have anything to do with you guys getting healed. I don't have anything to do with it. So here we go. Now we're going to get good. That's like the hors d'oeuvres on the tray before the Super Bowl. Here, we're going to go have the meal. Then we're going to have to go play the ribs. Here we go, guys. Here's some meat. Here's your meat. In the sweat of the face, thou shalt eat bread. What is bread? I asked my wife, and she looked at me this morning like I'd had a stroke. I said, what is bread? What is bread? What is it? You make a sandwich with it. Come on, guys. You know what bread is. You slap gravy with it. You put gravy on it. You put egg and cheese in it. It's bread, okay? What is bread? Bread is a battle, okay? Hebrew and Aramaic languages, when they were talking, remember we were talking figuratively speaking now, we're talking what they were talking language in 6,000 years ago. Now they're standing here in suits and ties with microphones and iPads. Bread meant battle, consume, or to go to war. So let me read it to you again. In the sweat of your face, there shall be war until you return to the ground. I don't think anybody heard me. Are you serious? Nobody heard what I just said. Until they put you in the ground, and Pastor Steele and I are up here eulogizing you, and your family's crying that you lived a great life, you're going to have worries. There's going to be trouble there. It's not going anywhere. These thorns are going to be everywhere you go. They're not going anywhere. They're not. They're not going anywhere. Sounds pretty dark, don't it? Like, why did God do this to me? I don't question him. I used to. Don't worry about what happens. So I looked up the word bread, Pastor. I wanted to go a little deeper with bread. This is crazy. This is where I go. French culinary schools 400 years ago said bread was defined as something that breaks down into pieces. And their culinary schools taught it in their classes because they went back and quoted Moses when he came off the mountain with all the rules that we were to live by. And it says, break the staff of bread.
Wow.
It had nothing to do with the biscuit down at Bojangles. Had nothing to do with it. Do that for Bojangles. They have advertised for us if they're on YouTube. So they need to give us some money. We're advertising Bojangles. So here you go. So we were hearkening. Hearken means we were obedient to a voice that wasn't God's. We were obedient to the devil, which came through our wives. Ladies, I love you, but we're the same thing too. I love you, but we're the same thing. The voice spoke. It's the tool that they used. It's okay. It's not a big deal. It's okay. We understand why. So we understand that sorrow is worry and pain. We know that bread is going to be a battle till we die. It's not good. But I'm going to tell you how to fix it. Because if you got a problem, you know how to fix it, right?
Right.
I'm a maintenance director. My job is to understand how they fix a problem. So I'm going to tell you, I told you the issues. Thistles and thorns have been around forever. We got them, they ain't going nowhere. You're going to have them. He made Adam, there were some thorns and thistles. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to tell you how to fix it. Numbers 33 and 55. Hear me when I say this. It says, but if you do not drive out the inhabitants of the land from before you, and it shall come about that those who you let remain will become as pricks in your eyes, listen to me, and thorns in your sides. And they will trouble you. Listen to what I'm getting ready to say. They will trouble you in the land in which you live. He didn't say it was going to be over here. He didn't say we're going to come over here. All right, I'm going to do this. He's got thorns. But you're cool, brother, because you got 2 kids. I'm going to take care of you. You're good. All right, you got a job at Bernhard. You good. Well, you know what? You work at Broadhill. You're fired. You're done. I don't have anything for you. He didn't say that. He didn't say that. He said the land you're living in.
Land you live in.
I live in Caldwell County. I don't think he meant that. Where do you live? Do you live over here where worry and anger and stuff's all around you?
Wow.
Or you live on over here where this guy right here,
Wow.
he can care less. Whatever happens, happens. Whatever happens, happens.
Wow.
I used to live over there, down in the corner. Now I live over here.
All right.
I'm coming this way where these guys live.
All right, I got you.
And there's other of us that live there. But the more we get this, the more we want to live over here.
Yes.
The more we live up here, the more we do it. Because I know down here,
Amen.
That's a
Yes,
blessing.
yes, yes.
it's about 300 degrees in here. We got to drive out the enemy, guys. We got to drive them out. We got to get rid of the buffets. We got to get rid of these guys. We got to get rid of them. We know we're going to have them. But the problem is with a lot of people today, the battles that they have, the battles that you have, you're going to have them. I just told you, they're going to come. We all have our battles. We have our battles. But the crazy thing about our battles is we got to pick which ones we're going to fight. Because God will give us some to fight. But He's not going to give us all of them to fight. The other things that we need to do is be consistent with what you say. Study the Word. Know the Word. Know the Word. I think I've said before, the average person that they do studies and they ask Christians, and I say Christians, anybody who believes Jesus Christ died for you on the cross, was resurrected, came back, and you got eternal life, if you believe it. That's the Christians I'm talking to. Okay? 1% of Christians study 15 or 20 minutes a week.
Right.
Everybody else don't study at all. They may read the Bible. Studying is not reading.
Jesus.
You don't study math by adding 1 and 1. You don't study a sentence by looking at the sentence and reading it, not dissecting it. I'm going to tell you right now, not a lot of people do it, and I don't want to do it, but God's tasked me with it. I choose to study the Word, so when I'm in front of you, I don't want any screaming, shouting, hollering. I don't look for those. I don't do it myself. As happy as I get is beating this pulpit up here. That's as happy as I'll ever get. But inside, I told my wife this morning, I'm so full of anxiety when I got up this morning, I couldn't wait to come to church.
Wow.
Occasionally, God will give you that one little seed, in your life, when this seed's planted, if you just do your job,
That's the truth.
and everybody else around does their job,
That's the truth.
we change things. And I'm going to tell you, I'm almost done, but I want to say something. And I know he doesn't like it, but I'm going to say it. This man right here has had so many thorns put on him.
So true.
You have no idea. And I honestly don't have a clue. But when I sit back and watch my wife talk about him occasionally, Mr. Deacon, First Lady Steele, talk about him all the time talk about him in our house all the time because I understand what he's starting to do, and I'm just getting started. Because it's every day. Did you know such and such, such and such, such? Don't care. Don't such and such. Let them do what they want to do. Let them do what they want to do. Because I'm going to tell you what, right now, their thorns never going away.
Amen.
Their thorns are not going away. They're going to get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. They're never going anywhere. So when you have somebody around you who's been in a battle, go to battle with
You
them.
better go back.
Told you the whole service this morning. When he started saying, "Hut 1, 2, 3, 4," I'm over here going, "Lord, you're building an army right here today, a special ops 6 team or whatever we want to call it. Build a team,
The team.
a team. That's it. You gotta have a team. He's gotta have tons of support." They prophesied over the other night, and I'm sitting down there thinking, everybody in the last week's been on my sermon. They've been on this thing right here all week long. So guys, when you go with the thorns, I'm going to pick these up. I don't want to get cut. But here's what I want to know. I want you to stand up if you got some of these prickly things floating around inside of you. I just want you to stand up. I don't want you to come up here unless you feel compelled to do it. But if you got thorns in you, stand up for a second. And if I see anybody that's probably in the seat, y'all need to help me because I got a bunch of them. And I'm trying to get rid of them.
Jesus.
Guys, you got to support what you believe in. And you got to support it what you believe in. I support things because I believe in them. I'm getting too old. I'm 46. That's not super old, but I'm getting too old to start supporting things I don't believe in, okay?
So true.
I'll be honest with you, there's some thorns in my life, and the thorn that I have, God has blessed us in the last year. We've been through some stuff as a couple. And as a mixed race couple, we've been through a lot. And I mean, it's been a battle. There's been times and places I wanted to actually jerk people up and give them some buffeting. Okay? And I'm a big guy, so I probably bluff it pretty well. In fact, it might be scary bluff it. But the thing is, we've got to stand up and know that we all came from out here. That's like Conor McGregor or something in here, right? I talk a good game, but I'm a little guy. So anyway, guys, we got to understand we're all on the same page if we're Christians. If we're Christians and we say we're Christians, then we got to start helping one another. We got to understand when somebody calls me and they're going through something, don't give them a pity party. Don't tickle their ears because that's what they want to hear. Don't do that. Be honest with them. So you know there's something greater to come out of this. But, when I say but, everything before it doesn't count anymore. But, you've got to understand why. And if they come to you tomorrow and they call you into the doctor and they say, "Hey, look, we found this is the case, this case." You know what I'm going to do if they tell me I got 3 or 4 days to go? Well, we're going to go parachuting because she wants to, and I'm going to go ride a bull. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. So do things that you want to do, guys, and just enjoy your life. If you're stressing over money, go get a better job. I don't believe that's easy. You may say that. Well, it's not that hard. Ask for it.
Amen.
When you go to prayer, ask for it. I heard him say this morning, wants and needs. My buddy's True Love did the hip hop on the way here. I was listening to a little song, and it's Christian hip hop. If you ever know who True Love is, the guys around Lenore and Morganton, awesome group of guys. He says, wants and needs, sacrifice and greeds.
Jesus.
It's about the life I lead. It's funny what you want, right? It's funny what you need. You don't need a lot, honestly. You can go 4 days without water and still go to the bathroom normal. You can go 2 weeks without food and still go to the bathroom. Your body will do what it's got to do. And God will make sure that you have it until it's your time to perish. Until it's your time, He's going to give you what you need. And so many of us don't ask for it. We want those thorns that are there. So, Just looking out the window thinking about how we as Christians, we put on the show in this building. That we go out in the street and we don't do what we're supposed to do. And we all know those people. Some of us may be those people, but we may be scared to do it. We may know that we have knowledge, but we don't know how to give it out. It's okay to know that. Just ask. She could tell you 8 years ago, we walked into church for the first time, dating across the street. I couldn't even pray. They called me one day to pray. I'm like, I'm not going to pray. They're like, you're going to pray? I'm like, you want to bet? Make me pray. I didn't pray. So I went home and said, God, I'm going to church with this lady. I haven't been to church in a number of years, never been asked to pray. I need you to teach me how to pray.
Jesus.
And look at me now. Look at me now. The day that I heard his voice in the basement of the church, he said, you're going to teach the word because you're analytical. You study, man. You'll study a math problem. You'll teach your kids. You'll study how to fix a machine. I don't care if that machine runs, Lee. I need you to understand and study this book and teach these people that there's a manual here they're not using. So you got to understand that. So what he's done for me is give me a manual. And my manual is whatever I can find to read to help you guys. If it's written looking up French culinary 400 years ago, then I'll read every word in the book to get one word to give to Jordan, or to give to my wife, or give to Miss Dua, or Pasa, or Jamaica, or Little John, or his daughter. I'll do it, whatever it takes. One person. All right, guys. Does anybody have a question about that before you go out the door?